How's it going, YouTube? I'm back again. For the first time in weeks, really. Um, I've just been working, really. So that's the big story there. I will be coming back to making more videos. My PhD has kind of been on hold a little bit while I've been doing some teaching work. I think I talked about that a little bit in the last video I made, which was a few weeks ago. Anyway, so right here, we're going to do some AI business today. On the left, I've got Ableton. On the right, I have my web browser, and I have this stable audio website up, which is the AI tool that I feel like I've, at least for now, kind of settled on because it has some nice features. It allows me to input audio and give prompts, and the sound quality is quite good. And it's not as cheesy as some of the other ones. I feel like it's got a bit more depth, a bit more breadth of quality, both in terms of the actual sound quality, but also just the genre quality. It's not just, I don't know, really cheesy kind of vocal dance tracks or anything like that. I'm sure we could get it to make that stuff, but that's kind of not what I'm after. So I've got these 4 clips here. These are recordings of VCV Rack patches that I've made and made videos about. If you follow my Patchwork with Miles series, which I need to catch up on, you might recognize some of these names. I don't know if they show up well on the video, but I did a Moffenzeef patch, which is where I used the Moffenzeef module collection to make a patch. I made a patch using burst generators. I like to use burst generators a lot anyway, but I specifically made a patch trying to sort of use them and demonstrate how they work. And I specifically wanted to use Sickerzel modules for this patch. It's called generative Sickerzel because it's sort of generative patch. Most of these are quite generative, but some are a bit more straight than other ones, I suppose. And this one is called Sanguine Worlds because I used the Sanguine modules. So why don't we just audition them a little bit and then we will start making with the AI. So this is the Moffenzeef one. So yeah, it's just like, it says 16 bars, but it's actually sort of probably an irregular amount because this isn't actually locked to Ableton's grid. These are just recordings. They are warped though, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, all of these are going to sound quite, I guess, like IDM, kind of experimental a little bit, just a bit glitchy, a bit weird, not too crazy, I don't think. But I'm very curious to see what happens when I input this audio or just all of these audio clips into the AI. Let's listen to the next one. So yeah, this one's a little bit more like the bass line is a loop. It's kind of standardized. There is also kind of like a semi-regular beat, I think, as well. But there's also a lot of other random shit in there. which I like. I really like that stuff, but I'm just very curious to see how the AI is going to handle that stuff. Let's listen to the next one. So this one's, I don't know, like maybe some hints of like Joy Orbison, maybe a little bit of overmono in there, but a little bit more experimental perhaps than them. Joy Orbison can get pretty experimental, but not quite to this degree, I don't think. I really like all of these, by the way. I'm going to definitely use these patches to make finished tracks. But with my PhD, if you don't know, my whole sort of journey through the PhD is to, my goal, I guess you might say, is to make music with AI, but using AI as like a collaborator. So I'm not just telling the AI to make music and then, that's it, job done. I'm wanting to sort of interact with the algorithm. I shouldn't say algorithm, with the, what's the word I'm looking for? The machine learning, the LLM, the model, the AI model, to kind of get a circular flow of ideas. So when I input these into this stable audio website, I'm hoping to get sort of alternate versions of my own work, which I can then use as the basis for a new track. And then once I've made some sort of headway in making a new track based on what the AI has given me, which was based on my own track, then I will start taking parts out of that track and feeding it back into the AI again, and then getting results that way. I'm finding so far that it's actually a really good tool specifically for sound design. Like, I don't really want to use AI to just write music for me. That's not interesting to me. Maybe sometimes, maybe it could be interesting if I write some sort of chord progression and then the AI maybe gives me some sort of interesting melody. Like that's cool. But what I really want is to sort of have it be a a source of inspiration and a way to develop existing ideas. So one thing I'm interested in and have been sort of working through is creating different variations of the same musical passage. So like the harmony and a melody, something like that. But each time it gives me like a very different version of that melody. And with this website here, we can adjust the level of sameness, you might say. We'll get to that in a sec, but I actually haven't used this for a while, so maybe it's changed a bit. But yeah, you can adjust the amount that it sticks to the audio that you give it. So I think the default is like 70%. But that means, though, that if you get, say, like 5 different versions of the same musical passage, musical phrase, motif, whatever you want to call it, it will sort of give you different like sound design ideas based on that, that phrase or passage or whatever you want to say, which can be really cool because then you can like do interesting things like crossfade between them and create interesting like vector synthesis possibilities. So I'm excited about that. Let's listen to the last example. I've only got 4 examples here, and then we'll start feeding them in. I'll just leave it there. Yeah, once again, sort of this meandering but semi-structured mood piece, as are so many of my modular patches. That's pretty much just all they are, is little mood pieces, or I like to talk about them as being little bespoke worlds that we can inhabit for a little while. Great, so I've already bounced out these audio files, and so let's just add an audio file, shall we? So I'm going to, I wonder if we can drag and drop. Let's just bring up a Finder window and see if we can do that. Cool, so we don't want that. Let's go here, let's go to here. Okay, so here I also have this one. I don't think I'm gonna maybe use this. Let's just listen to it. Yeah, this actually made in Ableton. We could potentially feed this in as well. It's another kind of semi-generative kind of sequence. So maybe we'll try that. It's a little bit more sparse, which actually might help because the AI, I think, is going to struggle with some of these, honestly. So let's start with this one. Let's just see if we can drag it. Nope, we can't. Cool, so let's grab the Muffin-Zeef. Let's upload it. And let's see what we can make out of it. All right, so I've input the audio. It's here, so now we have 75% strength. Might just leave that at 75%. And in here, we can input a prompt to sort of direct what we want the AI to do. 30 seconds is probably plenty. In fact, we can't go more than that because I have to upgrade my account. Maybe I will at some point because I do think that this AI platform is quite good. There's a lot of shit ones out there, at least out ones I've tried. So what are we gonna, this is quite IDM already. So maybe I can say, I'll just write produce, if I can type, an ambient version of this audio. Maybe I can add some extra information here. Make sure it has lots of reverb and minimal drums. Let's just try that. We'll just see what happens. Let's generate. All right, I think that worked. Let's try playing this. I don't know how that's minimal drums. This is bad, man. Yeah, see, this is probably because there's just too much information in there. Like you can hear in the background, there's just this kind of cacophony of noise. Let's adjust our, what do you call it? Our prompt. Let's remove the whole mention of drums. Let's get rid of the reverb part. Let's just produce an ambient version of this. Let's write track instead of audio. And maybe we can, let's say, a sparse. And minimal ambient version of this track. Focus on the harmony. See how that goes. Keep the input strength at 75. Let's try that again. All right. Let's play it. Much better. That's actually quite interesting. Still get a lot of that kind of glistening noise in the background. Let's download that one because unfortunately we can only do MP3. Otherwise, I'd have to upgrade to get WAV. I definitely going to have to upgrade at some point because I want more than 30 seconds in a lot of instances and probably better quality audio. So let's just download that really quick. Let's get rid of this. Let's try another track because I've only got so much audio to work with here. I've got 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. So I want to sort of work through some of these. Let's start with this one. Let's input our audio again. Let's go with this Burst World one. These ones might take a bit longer to upload because they are longer files. All right, so that didn't take as long as I thought it would. Why don't we just keep the prompt the same? I'm just curious to see, and it's a different input, so let's just keep it the same. Keep the strength the same. Let's just go. All right, let's have a listen to this. Let's see what the AI has given us. Interesting. Wow. That's actually pretty cool. I really like those like pads and the sort of discordant nature. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Let's just listen to what we started with. Yeah, and then very interesting. And I really like how it somehow managed to, I guess, kind of like fuck it up a little bit because, and it's probably because there's just so much happening in that track, but the chords go from being this really pleasant to like this not completely discordant. Like it works, but in like a kind of, it's got this dark edge when it hits that chord. I don't know, I just find that interesting. And it's got like vocals almost in there, which is fascinating to me. Let's download this. So I've been doing a lot of writing with my PhD recently, and ultimately it's a philosophy PhD. It's music based, but all PhDs that aren't like, science and mathematics and physics and that kind of stuff tend to be philosophy PhDs. But I've been talking about the AI a lot and how AI, like LLMs, feel to me like it's the collective hallucination of humanity, aided by this new technology that we have, because it is taking like everything that, well, maybe not everything. Eventually, it'll be everything. Certainly, if the AI companies have their way. But yeah, everything from human creation, everything from human culture, and then it's sort of filtered through this technology to be this sort of new hallucinatory version. And I find that pretty fascinating. It's just, yeah, it's interesting to me because all AI stuff, maybe not every single thing that's ever been produced with it, but a lot of it has this kind of strange quality to it, which is kind of difficult to pinpoint, but I know it when I see it, and it can be quite unsettling, but I find it can also be really interesting, especially, this is why I also think that the AI stuff gets used for stuff like horror a lot, is because it really works for that, because when you get the AI to produce like horror imagery, what comes out can be quite disturbing. And you wonder, obviously it's based on human cultural examples of horror, like like media, horror media, like movies, imagery, artwork, whatever. So I'm not saying it didn't come from nowhere, but it's got this like, I don't know, maybe it's just something to do with the fact that it comes out of the machine, makes it sort of extra weird. But I think it has a specific quality to it, which I find interesting. Anyway, that's a bit of an aside. I've just been writing a lot about this stuff, so I thought that's kind of interesting to talk about. But let's try another one. Let's just make sure that I actually downloaded this. I'm pretty sure I did. Yep. Yeah, I really like that. That's really good. This is actually a really good method for me to be doing this stuff, is to feed it my own work, and especially really esoteric, weird stuff, because it comes out with quite weird results. But like, it somehow takes what I've given it, which is maybe more weird, and it kind of like almost like commercializes it a bit more, puts it through like this kind of pop music filter, which might be a problem. Like you could see that as a problem, but I actually think it's really fascinating because it turns something which is kind of designed to be strange, and kind of makes it a bit more palatable, but it's still strange. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just like that stuff. So let's try this one. This one might be a bit more straight. Let's upload that audio. Generative Sigazel. I'll probably keep the prompt the same for all of these, just because I'm enjoying what it's giving us. And I only have so much render time, so to speak, to work with. So if I have some more, maybe with this one, maybe I can do this prompt and then another prompt as well. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's just generate. All right, let's have a listen. This one is interesting, but it's quite similar to the input. I really like it though. Yeah, there's some quite cool stuff in there. Let's just download it. Let's try something else with this track as well, because I'm just curious to see where it can go. Maybe I can add another line to the prompt. Yep, save that. Great. Let's just get rid of that. Maybe I can be very specific. Let's try that. This might be a bridge too far. Maybe we can adjust this down to like 65. We'll see what happens. Let's give it a go. Okay, now let's play this. I mean, it didn't remove the beat. It did kind of make it less intense. Yeah, it's quite nice. Oh, we're getting like some cello almost. You know, I really wish I could get more than 30 seconds, because it's like it just cuts off sometimes, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously, I should just upgrade to Pro. That's fine. I'll do that later. I'm still kind of exploring which of these tools are worth using. This one I do like. I keep coming back to it. So But yeah, I need to check out some other ones. This one has a good interface. It also, I would say, has some good tools. I love this input strength stuff. I love that I can input audio and give it a prompt. I think if I had Pro, I might be able to change this model to something else as well. Also, this prompt library, which is cool. Maybe I'll try that another time. Yeah, so there's just some good stuff. Anyway, let's try another track. Let me just make sure I've got all that. Yep. And the previous one. Maybe these two combined I could come up with something cool with that. So let's add some audio. Let's go back here. Which one is the last one? Sanguine Worlds. Yep, let's upload that one. All right, let's keep this one at 75%. Maybe this one I will not have this remove the beat. I'll just say focus on the harmony and focus on the harmony, enhance ing harmonic elements and melody. Let's try that. Let's keep it at 75% and go. Okay, let's have a listen. Interesting. The bass is very prominent in this track. So let's listen to our original again. Oh. So it's definitely different, but it's also quite similar. Let's just download it really quick. And we've got 30 seconds left of credit on my account for this. So let's, for the last one, I've got 1 minute left. Let's, for the last one, change the percentage here to 50%. Let's also go to our prompt library and let's pick something like trip hop. Cinematic trip hop track featuring cool Rhodes piano, dreamy choir, and striking double bass and melancholic guitars. The mood is introspective, atmospheric, and thoughtful. 85 BPM. Yeah. What if I say using the harmony from this track? Create cinematic. Let's try that. We'll just see what happens. All right, it's probably gonna have ignored my little prompt at the start here, purely because I set this to 50%. So we'll just see what we get. Wow. Very strange. I think it's awesome though. It's like, okay, so not all of it is awesome, but I can definitely see myself taking that audio, chopping out sections of it and turning it into something else. And then maybe taking that and feeding it back into the AI. So that's a task for me for the next video. Yeah, so that's probably going to do it for this video. Next time I will have worked on some of these and we'll come back. Next time I will have worked on some of these and I'll come back and feed them back into this stable audio and we'll see what happens. For those of you wondering what that was, it was my smoothie bottle thing. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, head over to my Substack, which I will link in the description of this video. If you're watching this on Substack, check out my other posts, my other writing. I'm working on a big piece right now that I'm going to upload as soon as I'm done with it. Yeah, lots of writing happening. And it's not going to be long now before I start making some videos again that aren't like just this PhD stuff. I've just been busy, you know. It turns out when you get a new job, which is a job that you really like and is kind of a dream job, you don't have time for much else. So, yeah, I will see you in my next video. And yeah, have a good one. See you later.